PlayStation used to mean must-play exclusives. God of War, Uncharted, The Last of Us, icons that defined console generations. But with the PS5, a powerhouse on paper, something started to crash, its exclusive lineup. Today, we're digging into why critics and many fans call the PS5 a disappointment, how its exclusives compare to past PlayStations, and what this means for the future of Sony's biggest gaming brand. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly how many true PS5 exclusives there really are, and why that number is smaller than you think. To start, we need clarity. What counts as a PS5 exclusive? Is it any game tied to Sony platforms? Or games that only run on the PS5? Many lists inflate the count by including cross-generation games, director's cuts of PS4 titles, or games also coming to PC. That muddies the waters big time. A true PS5 exclusive should ideally be only on PS5 hardware. Reddit communities tracked lists and found only a handful of true PS5 exclusives, games that aren't also on PS4 or PC. Examples identified by dedicated fans include Astro Bot, Astro's Playroom, Demon's Souls, Remake, Destruction All-Stars, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, and a few others. Many so-called exclusives, like Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, have since been ported elsewhere. That's a tiny list compared to previous PlayStation generations, and that's where the disappointment starts. Let's take a historical step back. The PS4 and PS3 had massive exclusive lineups in their early years, games that defined entire genres and brought millions of players into the PlayStation ecosystem. PS4 icons: Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, God of War, 2018, Horizon Zero Dawn. Then juxtapose with PS5 title screenshots. PS4's first 5 years featured more original IP, fresh narratives, and genre-defining hits, not remasters or enhanced ports, than the PS5 has delivered in its whole cycle so far. PS4 era: Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, 2018, all new experiences that couldn't be played anywhere else. PS5 era: Astro's Playroom, a pack-in-tech demo, Demon's Souls, a remake, Death Stranding 2, still a Sony title but not exclusive forever, and cross-platform titles. Fans noticed this shift. In fact, nearly 60% of PlayStation players said they no longer buy hardware just for exclusives. It's not just critics saying this, the community itself questions the PS5's exclusive value. Breakdown of notable PS5 exclusives. Now let's look at the games people do call big exclusives, and evaluate whether they live up to expectations. Astro's Playroom pre-installed tech showcase and platformer. Great demo for DualSense tech, but limited long-term appeal. Wikipedia narrator: if your biggest exclusive is pre-installed, that signals a deeper issue. Demon's Souls, remake, beautiful, but fundamentally a remake of a PS3 game, not a new franchise entry. Wikipedia Spiderweb Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy Rebirth, Death Stranding, two highly rated titles that began as Sony exclusives but are landing on PC or other platforms soon, which dilutes exclusivity. Games Radar Plus Returnal, Rise of the Ronin, Stellar Blade well received by critics and fans, but again many are also on PC or planned elsewhere. Reddit: say yes, there are good games here, but the concept of exclusivity, the reason you'd buy the PS5 instead of another system, is weaker than ever. Even games originally tied to PS5 are now heading to PC. Does exclusivity still matter when it's only temporary? Community backlash and real sentiment: we're not just talking about sales reports, players themselves are expressing frustration online. Many longtime PlayStation fans admit the PS5's exclusives haven't justified the purchase like previous generations. Reddit complaints that much of the PS5's library feels like PS4 games in better graphics, not true next-gen experiences. Reddit: a gaming console is only as good as its must-play games, and if you can play most of those on other platforms or you already played them on PS4, the value proposition collapses. Corporate strategy missteps: there's a corporate side to this story too. Sony once invested deeply in internal studios producing consistent hits. But recent strategic shifts, especially around live service games, have backfired. Fact: Sony cancelled 8 of 12 promised live service games. PC Gamer, instead of doubling down on blockbuster single-player exclusives, Sony spread resources thin, and many promised titles never shipped. That's a huge deal. Not just because cancelled games mean wasted hours and money, but because it signals a lack of clear strategic direction. Counterpoints: what PS5 does do well. This isn't a 100% negative verdict. There are strengths here. Points: PS5 hardware itself remains powerful and well designed. Some exclusives are critically acclaimed. Returnal and Spider-Man 2 still receive praise. Reddit: Sony still invests in narrative and technical quality. But remember, these are individual game successes, not a broad exclusive ecosystem. And for the brand identity Sony once had, that's under question. So, after diving into the numbers, the games, and the community's reactions, what can we really say about the PS5 and its exclusive lineup? The truth is complicated. On one hand, the PS5 is an impressive piece of hardware: fast SSD, incredible load times, the DualSense controller revolution, and some truly standout titles that showcase the next generation of gaming. Games like Returnal, Astro's Playroom, and Spider-Man 2 prove that when Sony hits the mark, it can deliver experiences that feel fresh, immersive, and unforgettable. But here's the hard part: the exclusives ecosystem, the very thing that once made PlayStation consoles a must-have, is no longer what it used to be. Compared to past generations, the number of true, must-own PS5 exclusives is alarmingly small. Many of the so-called exclusives are remasters, ports, or cross-platform titles that dilute the impact of owning the console. Fans are noticing this. The excitement, the anticipation, the "I need this console for this game" energy, it's weaker than ever. And it's not just about numbers. It's about identity. PlayStation built its reputation on original, world-defining titles that couldn't be played anywhere else. That strategy helped define entire generations and cemented Sony's dominance in the console wars. Today, with fewer blockbusters, delayed releases, and a growing trend of cross-platform availability, Sony risks losing that unique identity. The PS5 may be powerful, sleek, and technically impressive, but if the exclusives don't follow, its legacy may feel hollow in the eyes of hardcore fans. Still, all hope isn't lost. Sony is investing in new studios, exploring ambitious projects, and learning from missteps. There are still games in development that could redefine the narrative and restore PlayStation's crown as the home of must-play exclusives. But until those titles arrive, the PS5 faces a stark reality: it cannot rely on hardware alone to maintain dominance. The software, the stories, the experiences, the games you can't play anywhere else, has always been and will always be the heart of a console's value. So here's the takeaway: the PS5 isn't a failure, but as a system built to thrive on exclusives, it has underwhelmed in ways that fans and critics alike can't ignore. It's a console of potential, not fulfillment, a machine capable of greatness, but one that is still waiting for the games to justify its next-generation promise. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Has the PS5 lived up to the expectations set by its predecessors? Or is it a cautionary tale in the making, a reminder that even powerful hardware cannot replace the need for compelling, original exclusives? Let us know in the comments below, because this debate is far from over, and it's only going to get more interesting as Sony's next moves unfold.